PayDay Abroad is an audio-only experience. Feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Servus und willkommen. Welcome to our first edition of the PayDay Abroad reboot. This episode's German word or phrase of the week, die nächste Seite, or in English, the next page. Well, would you look at that? A year and a half later, and we finally get the PayDay Abroad reboot. For those avid listeners who may not have been aware of my life since the finale of the first show, let's do a quick recap of the last 18 months. By the way, forgive me for the mic quality. I couldn't bring my microphone with me because of the luggage requirements. So, yeah, we're just using the computer mic for now. It's gonna be great. Anyways, after graduating from Eastern Illinois University in 2024 with my bachelor's in sports media and German language with a radio minor, by the way, I decided to enter the workforce, or sort of. Turns out that, entering the workforce was a little bit easier said than done. So instead of going directly into my fields of study, I decided to move into my grandmother's house and assist her with her day-to-day living and overall caretaking responsibilities. By the way, shout out to the wonderful people that helped with all of that. You're absolute legends. I did this for a little while, but still wanted to find some sort of job, so I kept applying, and I kept coming up short. I made a promise to many people, including my family, that if I was unable to find employment after graduation, I would go back and get my master's degree, and lo and behold, the time to actually uphold that promise came. So last fall, I finally began searching for grad programs where I could potentially study something along the lines of sports management. I thought that'd be cool. While doing so, though, I continued to have this European daydream. Photos of the glistening lights of Vienna streets with the smell of fresh bread at the corner bakery continued to dominate much of my consciousness. It only made sense then that I, for potential grad programs, looked in Germany and Austria, given that I spent a few years learning German and actually studied in Germany as well, in a city called Würzburg for 7 months. For those of you that listened to the first series, you'll remember that. By the way, shout out to all the wonderful homies there in Würzburg. Hope you're doing well. And after a bit of an arduous search, I stumbled upon a very enticing program at the school called FH Kufstein Tirol. The FH means Volkshochschule, or University of Applied Sciences, but for the sake of brevity, we're going to stick to FH for now. It was a sports, events, and cultural management program where I would be able to pursue my sports management ambitions. It was also taught in English, which, admittedly, since I'm not fluent in German, was a bit of a plus. So I applied and did the interview, and I bombed the interview, to be honest. I did terrible. I fumbled the bag. I missed multiple questions, and I just didn't feel like I lived up to the occasion. So, decided to write off as a pipe dream. Kufstein's not happening. I'm not going back to Europe, blah, 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 blah. I finally made peace with that, and I was ready to move on. But once I had made peace with that, I got an email in my inbox. Sehr geehrter Herr Bays, long story short, I got accepted. I officially found out in December of 2024 that I would be pursuing my studies at FH Kufstein starting in October of 2025. That basically meant I had about 9 to 10 months to prepare and save up for this 2-year program. In that time, I continued to assist my grandmother in her caretaking duties. Eventually, my grandmother, Joyce Krause, passed away in the summer of 2025. She was a wonderful woman who set the example for the rest of my family and many around her. She never backed down. She never wavered. And she's the reason I'm here today. Joyce Krause, from me and many others, I say thank you for everything. The time had finally come. It was time to head to Europe to begin my studies. A lovely going away party took place where I got to say goodbye to so many of my friends and my family. The occasion was a little snapshot into my life. Various people that I met along the way throughout the years brought love, hope, and joy in abundance to wish me all the best. I'm eternally grateful to the wonderful people in my life who have supported me and continue to do so. After a weekend of packing filled with double and triple checking pretty much everything, my parents drove me to Chicago and watched as their youngest son stepped through security to get on a plane bound for Munich. Whoa, but Nick, didn't you say you were going to Kufstein in Austria, not Munich in Germany? Well, yes, but before studying, I thought, hey, why not have a little fun before hitting the books, you know? With permission from my wonderful homies in Munich, I decided to crash their apartment and go to Oktoberfest. Beer tents full of drunken joy donned the Theresienwiese as the echoes of polka music cascaded across the vibrant Munich atmosphere. It was a spectacle of enthusiastic indulgence, and I was more than swept away by the charm of it all. And one hangover later, I spent some more time with my Munich homies before heading to Innsbruck in Austria for a few days. Innsbruck is a testament to Habsburg flair somehow tucking itself into the rolling dominance of the Alps. This includes the Golden Roof, a display of classic Habsburg chauvinism installed by Emperor Maximilian over 500 years ago. It hangs above what was an administrative building, and yes, it's a roof that is truly golden. Specks of gold and/or gold-gilded copper pieces glide down the angled roof and gaze upon adorning spectators every single day. After this lovely Innsbruck excursion, I then finally headed to Kufstein. With the nickname the Pearl of Tyrol, or the mountainous region of Austria, Kufstein is a historic town with roots tracing back many, many centuries. It sits close to the German border and actually changed hands between the Bavarian and Austrian domains on multiple occasions. The tall and proud Festung, or fortress, stands boldly over the town on the hill. Perhaps back in the day, it told folks to look up at it, to admire it, and to remind the rest that it was above them. Or perhaps it looked upon the town as a protective elder. Let my stone walls and broad facade remind you of how proud we stand in the mountains, and let my stone walls and broad facade protect you in your time of need. Who's to say? So after departing the train, I made my way to the international student residence where I would be living for at least the next year. There I met countless other individuals who, like me, left their hometowns in search of a degree and an alpine opportunity. I would then engage in a 2-day team building exercise with fellow students from my grad program, and they made me do a trust fall for the love of God. Yes, and I survived, but still. And I'm very thankful for the new friends I've made over here. They are wonderful people with such fascinating stories that they have brought with them. Classes have begun, the quest for all my paperwork continues, and the next page is officially being written as we speak. My German professor, Dr. Eit BB, always used to begin our classes by saying, "Machen wir ein bisschen weiter mit der nächsten Seite." And thanks to her influence and help throughout the years, that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm beyond excited to see what comes next. Thank you for tuning into this edition of PayDay Abroad, the first edition of the reboot. If you would like to support the show, feel free to give this episode a like and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more episodes in the coming weeks, and until next time, be safe, have fun, and auf Wiedersehen.